Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to our today's session. Our today's topic discusses the perimeter protection using special sensors. Today's speaker is Export Manager, Mr. Alberto Banzola, and he is coming from Dea Security. Dea Security is Italian manufacturer of perimeter intrusion detection systems, and Mr. Alberto will introduce to us DSF technology. Alberto, wish you a warm welcome and thank you for being with us today. Hopefully you can see and hear us.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Said. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks to be here together with us in order to see a little bit the latest news on the market relating the perimeter intrusion detection systems and sensors. Let me introduce, my name is Alberto and I'm the export manager of DEA. And before to talk about this new kind of technology, I'd like just to make a very brief introduction about the company, because I mean, we are on the market seems sometimes, but not everybody knows my company. And let me just introduce in a very fast way. First of all, DEA, like correctly said from Said, is an Italian manufacturer based in Italy, in Santo Stefano di Magra, on the Tyrrhenian Sea, practically in the La Spezia area, and is a manufacturer that since the 90s, so with an experience that is more than 30 years, manufactures sensors for different kind of perimeter intrusion detection. Today, we will base our attention on a new kind of technology related, in this case, to the fencing protection. By the way, we started years and years ago with the development of piezodynamic seismic sensors that were, I mean, our, let's say, core business and our kind of products that we introduced to the market. And like I told you, we are a, let's say, manufacturer, because we are a manufacturer, based in a modern building and with all the offices and departments inside. We don't work with outsourcing. We don't manufacture outside from our company, from our headquarters, anything. I mean, we are totally based inside. So this means that we don't have only production, but we got also the possibility to host our partners for trainings. We can host our partners for technical and commercial presentation of the products. We got a test area inside and outside our company, because we manufacture interior and external sensors. So we are, let's say, a modern company under this point of view that develop a comprehensive range of indoor and outdoor intrusion detection systems. Said that, we are organized in this way. We start from the concepts, okay, based on our experience, basing as well on the experience of our partners and our end customers. We are very related to them. We are very next to the market. We are very next to our, let's say, end customers as well, in order to understand which can be, let's say, the new features required on the market, and as well the new features that I mean can make the products better and better. From the concept, we design the products under an hardware and software point of view. So the research and development is totally internal, and as well we are in the position to build and test prototypes before, of course, to go to the market. In the moment that we start the production of, let's say, the normal production products that we have, or the new kind of products, we may have a total construction of the products and the prototypes, and as well of the final products directly inside our company. What this means, because this is very important, that we are in the position to make continuous checks about our production. This means that having our MSMD machines inside the company, we can control all the processes. It's not just to make the final testing of a product, but also to check any single phase of the production. This is increasing our quality, and not only the quality, is increasing as well the warranty terms of our products that are very, very extended, to be honest with you. Where we are practically in any kind of system that needs to be, and environment that needs to be protected. So in military and government sites, as well in transportation, as well as oil and gas, as well as energy and utilities, industrial, and in the residential market of any level, from, let's say, small residential developments up to the important VIP areas. We are in the VIP sector very well known all over the world. Our production, like I said before, is for external or internal application. So we can be applied to metal fences, to gardens with underground solutions, to asphalted areas, always with underground solutions, concrete floorings, raised floors for internal and external applications. And for internal, we've got special sensors that can be applied to windows, doors, glazed windows, burglar bars, walls, ceilings, and safes. These are some of our references that we have built in a, say, history that is 30 years old, let's say, and is still counting and going on. Going on also by the means of a new kind of, let's say, products and a new kind of technologies. What is very, very important for us is to find not only products, but also to find technologies. For this kind of systems, we may say that we have a complete management related also to the know-how, knowledge, in order to say to you that mostly of our products have been patented internationally. As well, this technology that I'm going to introduce to you briefly with a video right now, and later on with a complete presentation. It's called DSF, Dea Sensor Fusion, and in this case is applied, like I said before, to sensors for fencing called FUSION P2P. Let's give a look to them. Let me share with you this video in order that you can have a brief overview of the same.
So with the advantages of
Mr. Alberto, we have problems with the sound. I think that we cannot hear the sound from the video.
traditional detection system.
So this was a very fast introduction to this new kind of system that we created, and we launched it on the market in January 2020. Of course, we know very well that the last 2 years were not so easy for anybody of us. And as well, this was reflected to the market for us as well. And let's say that even if this product has got already a life of 2 years, let's say that we are still in the, let's say, market development for this kind of functionalities and for this kind of technology, because it's still totally new. I mean, there's nothing on the market for perimeter fencing intrusion detection sensors that is based on dual technology. But let's give a look a little bit deeply on this, and let me explain like this works, because I mean, the people that have got experience on perimeter fencing intrusion detection sensors most of the times are not believing that there is a dual technology system. And I mean, there's no trick behind this. This is a product that have been developed for 5 years inside DEA. So it's not something that we created by, let's say, magic from one night to another. It was a long process due to the fact that with the long experience that we got, not only internally in the company, but also following the installations of our partners all over the world, gave us the correct skills in order to develop something that is absolutely unique. Let me share with you the presentation. Let me go deeply in this in order that we can go inside and check. I hope that you can see it very well. So FUSION P2P, we still call it new because, I mean, I told you before, I mean, we launched it at the end of January 2020. So we're talking about a product that has got a story of 2 years, experience of 2 years, that in the first 6-7 months of, let's say, installations, we developed much more in order to have, let's say, the best performances on the market. When we say that this represents a new generation of DEA fence-mounted intrusion detection systems, we mean as well that it's creating a new kind of segment in the market. Because, I mean, there was nothing like that before. This technology that we created, Dea Sensor Fusion, is a dual tech detection technology. Thanks to this, we are redefining the industry standard as far for the performances and the versatility that are concerned with this kind of technology. When we talk about this technology, what we mean to say dual? We mean to say that inside Dea Sensor Fusion, there is piezoelectric as well. I got something that, okay, it's a little bit slow, but by the way, we got piezoelectric and MEMS accelerator. Usually, this kind of technologies are opponents on the market because who develops piezoelectric doesn't work with MEMS, and vice versa. Who works with MEMS doesn't work with piezoelectric. After years and years of studies and developments, we started to have a complete management of both the technologies, and we combined together the technologies. How we did it? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly. Sorry, 1 second only. So, Dea Sensor Fusion, like I told you before, it's a combination in a single sensor of all the benefits of a traditional piezoelectric microphone with the advantages of MEMS accelerometer. The outcome is a detector capable of the highest performances. And this means that we've got a possibility to have the most adaptive intelligence on the sensors for fencing. Practically, through intelligent adaptive algorithms, we are in the possibility to fuse together all the data coming from the two different kind of transducers that we got. And we can apply this kind of sensor to any kind of metal fence and walls as well. And in the environmental condition that we may find, this kind of sensor could challenge with any kind of other traditional systems, giving as well much more. Climate immunity. This is a very important point because due to noise limiter functions or both the technologies, we are able to recognize and digitally filter any kind of disturbances that is generated by climatic conditions. So rains, heavy rains, snow, as well as sandstorms, any kind of them are practically discarded. They are never realized to be alarms, to not generate false alarms. And this is very important because actually our, let's say, vote of confidence to the market is to say that we are able to say to the market that our installation made with Dea Fusion P2P realize no more than 2-3 false alarms per year. We introduced something very important and something very new as well in the programmation of the installation. Why this? Because, I mean, we have to make this kind of systems very easy to be installed, but very easy also to be programmed and used. So, through our sensors, we are able to have presets, and with a simple mouse click, we are able to say to the sensor where is applied, talking about maybe concertina, talking about wall, talking about any kind of other presets that can be mesh welded, that can be rigid fences. So we are always in the position to give something that is easy to be programmed. Then we can make some adjustment because we know that sometimes, even if the perimeter is always the same, the fencing is not always the same in the sense that there are some places, in particular with the mesh welded, where the years of the use of the same fencing are creating some, how to call them, some issues or some, let's say, changes in the detection. And we are able, talking about always a pinpoint solution, to select sensor by sensors or line by lines and to make adjustments just related to few meters or to entire perimeters. IP native support, of course, nowadays seems to be quite natural, but it's not something that we have not to keep in consideration. Because of course, I mean, we've got Ethernet interface, and this allows to our system to connect to a TCP/IP network and to exchange data with other third-party systems and equipment. Thanks to specific plugin software, the system can be also integrated to the main PSIM software and VMS softwares as well. We've got already a list of compatibilities because in our history, we develop a lot of integrations with the third-party systems. As well, we are already integrated with most of the main video surveillance manufacturers all over the world. Redundancy support. The Fusion P2P can be installed in a closed-loop configuration, which allows the system to continue functioning efficiently following a bus cable cut performed anywhere along the sensor string. This is the first part of our development because, I mean, for us, the loop, let's say, configuration is not just related to a single, let's say, line or to a single controller, but I mean, what we are developing right now in our process is to have more controllers that can create a redundancy altogether. This to increase, once again, the security level of the installation. And this support is very, very, very important for, let's say, the market, but as well for the end customers, in order to create, let's say, the possibilities to have the system always continuously working. The other diagnostic functionalities of our systems are, I mean, of a very, very, very high level. What I mean that we've got a self-test system that is working on any single sensor, but it's not just a fast test to say to the system, hey, I'm alive, I'm living, I'm okay. No, we make a complete diagnostic of all the functionalities of the sensors. This is something that we can do it in real time during, I mean, any time, any day of the installation running, or we can adjust it in order to make it regularly on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And this is not just, as I said before, a fast check. It's a complete auto diagnosis system in order to make the complete diagnostic of the entire installation. This helps a lot the operators and as well the after sales of our partners to recognize which kind of issues or which kind of problems may be on the single line or on a single sensor. Professional easy plug connectors. I forgot to say one thing that is very important. The lines of our sensors are all pre-cabled in company in order that you can easily adjust them directly on the fencing in order to make something that is, let's say, plug and play. But on the other side, our connectors to connect together by means of junctions, the different lines, are based on easy plug connectors, as well the termination of the line. So they are highly resistant, because we're talking about military grade specifications, but in the meanwhile, they are very easy to be used and connected, and they are all IP68. This also to avoid any kind of error or mistakes that may happen during an installation. So we want to make absolutely the things easy for our people and easier for the end users. Let's talk about the sensors like they are. So I said to you before that the sensors are pre-wired, the FUSION P2P, and the connectorized sensor string. These systems are connected by our single detectors with Dea Sensor Fusion technology built in. And like I said before, they can be applied to different types of fencing against, of course, these are, let's say, the main issues that we have to protect and defend: the cutting, the climbing, the breaking through, the lifting of the fence, and the sporadic cuts. This is a point that I want to spend 1 second more, some words with you, because this is very important. What is a sporadic cut? It's the typical kind of event when someone on a mesh wire fence tries to create a hole to be introduced inside. Like it works that not all the cuts that are creating this hole inside the fencing are made at the same time. So sometimes it happens that, let's say, the burglar is doing these kind of things to intrude inside the property once per day or once per week. According with the number of the cuts, we can register and we can record a real alarm, because, I mean, to create a hole, you cannot make just one cut on the fencing, because, I mean, this will not allow to be inside. But after 4, 5, or 6, this will create really the hole in the order that the intruder will intrude himself inside the property. We can keep a memory, we can save these first, second, third, and fourth cuts, or 5 or 6, like pre-alarm, and then after that we set that 3 cuts means alarm, 5 cuts means alarms, 6 cuts means alarms, we will generate the real alarm. Also, we can establish a period of time during that we will keep the memory of the sporadic cuts that we're going to record. The sensors are this one, like I told you before, is a dual track microprocessor. So we've got the signals that are coming from the piezo transducer and the MEMS transducer. They are very easy to be fixed directly on the fencing because we have a heavy-duty steel mounting plate, because this is very important. We don't use plastic. We don't use any accessory that can be just applied directly on the fence, but we've got a plate that makes the correct fixation on the surface that we have to protect and defend. This means that we are giving something that is highly professional. And this means as well that we've got a certain kind of care in all the aspects that are doing the solution. Coverage area. I said to you that this is a pinpoint, a P2P sensor. So this means that we've got a coverage that is depending on the type and the condition of the fence to which the sensor is fixed. So on the chain link mesh, we've got 3 meters. On the welded mesh fences, 5 meters or 3 meters. Rigid panels, 5 meters as well. The semi-rigid panels are based on 5 meters. Of course, in case that you have to offer this kind of technology, once that we can help you in detecting the right things and the right way, we will support you in creating the offer on the quotation, let's say, of the products, as well to recognize together what's best and what's not in order to be offered in a very correct way. Junctions and termination. Any line is connected to another one by means of junctions. And of course, at the end of the total line, we've got the terminations. Like I said before, we've got this kind of terminations that are based on professional easy plug connectors with this rating that is IP68, and this is very, very important, and based on military grade specification. The connectors make the electrical connection, that this is very, very important, totally error-proof and very fast in the, of course, installation as well. Input module, this is important because the biggest question that we usually receive is, how can I overpass a gate or a door in my installations? And how can work on it using as well the accessories that are related to the security of the gate and the door. So we got this kind of input module that is a peripheral module that contains an electronic interface that allow us to manage the resistive balanced input. It can be connected anywhere along the sensor string and allows the system to integrate third-party devices. So I'm making just the examples of the doors and the gates because normally when we talk about fencing, this is the first thing that our partners are asking to us. But not only this, also if we have any kind of other, let's say, sensors related on the perimeter and we want to connect these third-party systems to our FUSION P2P units, we are able to connect them and to have a real communication and a real connection to the system. About the applications, like we may see over here, the system is employed on flexible metal fences like chain link, mesh fences and welded panels, as well on rigid metal fences. It can be used as well on the most common types of wall. And we are able as well to protect concertinas. This is very, very important because these kind of sensors are coming out from our experience, and also the previous model that is called Series P2P, that is piezodynamic and still under production for very rugged installations. We may say that is able not only to control the concertina or alternatively the fencing with a concertina top, but it can be connected and detect both the surfaces. So if we got a concertina, we are able, through some accessories, to control the intrusion detection, not only on the concertina, but as well on the fencing, and vice versa, if it's connected to the fencing, to control as well the concertina and not only the fencing. Like I mentioned before about the configuration of the systems, basically we got a controller that we're going to check later on that allows to work with a bus. This bus of communication with two different inputs per any controller allow to work just with the two buses, or alternatively, we can create a loop generating one bus only that starts from one input and is closed by the second input, creating a real loop. This, for the redundancy, is quite interesting and very important. But as well, we are in developing right now of a new version of FUSION P2P called Pro. This allows to have linear extended loop and circular extended loop as well. If we go to check the loop, not the loop, the bus configuration, like we may see here, we got our controller and the two different buses. On each bus, we can connect up to 150 sensors per each bus. This means that if we are using the 3 meter, if we use the 3 meters detection, we got up to 450 meters related to line number 1 and bus number 1. On the other side, we got, if we are using 5 meters, 750 meters. This means that on the total, one controller can be extended up to 1.500 kilometers in order that allow to have a very long range of detection with one single controller. If we talk about the loop, of course, we reduce drastically the meters of the detection that arrive to be 450 meters in case that we're using the point-to-point detection at 3 meters and 750 meters in case that we're using FUSION P2P 5 meters. Talking about linear and extended loop, what we are going to do is to create loops that are connected one together, the different kind of the controllers. So practically, in case that we have got a failing controller or we got some issue on the line, the system will continuously running, allowing the people to work in this way with an extended loop configuration. And as well, we can create a circular loop that allow us to have less number of controllers and few lines that are working together in order to create a big circle on this. But this is not yet available. We're just under development. So take some patience and you'll see that we're going to take it. Let's talk about the controllers, because the intelligence of our system is not only in the active sensors. I forgot to mention that our sensors are totally active, but as well to the controllers that are able to control, like we said before, up to 300 sensors and on two communication buses. We may have told before 900 meters or 1,500 meters of line. And the controller is based on an Ethernet line input, the possibility to have relay expansions, and our two different buses that are working on the system itself. As well, the Ethernet line allows us to work and to be in the position to create third-party integration through the IP line and to have, like we may see over here, already, let's say, net of other brands that are already integrated with us directly. This doesn't mean that if you are working with some other brand, we cannot integrate them as well, or that maybe we integrate it as well. By the way, we are able as well to generate direct connection with third-party system by the use of relay boards in order that we are able to use and to work and to communicate with them as well in order that we can avoid any kind of issues or problems or to make it faster in connection just with physical connections. And for the people that are, let's say, scared by the dangers that may arrive by the cybersecurity attacks, I mean, this kind of, let's say, traditional integration is still absolutely valid for us and is still absolutely available for us. As well, this is very important, what we do, we arrange and we create plugins for third-party words. These are, let's say, projects that we do only on certain projects. So we are always ready to listen the needs of our partners and as well the needs of their partners as well. Last but not least, we give also the possibility to be integrated in our system to third-party system by the use of DLL, of course, with a certain kind of policy in order that, I mean, we are totally transparent with our partners, but as well, they have to be with us. Turning back on the controller, the relay expansions I said before, I mean, we've got relay expansions with 16 relay that allow us, sorry, because, okay. These allow us to have, let's say, a lot of different outputs that can be controlled, checked, and programmed. As well, let's talk about the complete control unit, because the control unit is not just, let's say, a motherboard. It's a complete cabinet that we arrange for outdoor use and arrives directly already ready to be used from our company. So we are specialized as well in build the cabinets for our partners in order that they can reduce the time to go to the installation and they can be, let's say, faster as well in making their own job during, let's say, the installation phase. Last but not least, this is much important in all the things that we do, is the calibration of our system, because I mean the software that is already included in all our quotations, so it's practically a part that is inside our systems, allows to make the complete management of the system. But as well, I mean, is very easy to make the calibration of the same. Like I said you before, I'm sorry because it's written just in Italian, but I had no time to make the change today of this slide. I mean, we got the status of the sensors in real time with all, let's say, the kind of alarms. So we're able also to see and detect and to change and to understand which are the real alarms that we are generating. As well, we have got temperature systems on any single sensor that allow me to understand if the system is under attack, under a thermal attack from outside. As well, we've got the presets that I mentioned before. So we've got 7 different kinds of presets that allow us to make a very fast programming of the system. As well, I mean, the sensibility adjustment. What I mean with the sensibility adjustment, we saw before the presets. Any preset has got its own adjustment on the sensibility on any single sensor or on any line or on the complete installation. But if I wish, I can make on the same line different kind of adjustment, because sometimes one line is connected to a certain kind of fencing and in the middle has got another kind of fencing. How many times it happened that a fencing is terminating and there is a wall? With this kind of systems, we are able to pass from one environment to the other one, from one kind of fencing to the other one, and to make the programming of the self. Also, we can make very, let's say, teeny programming in order to go directly on the single sensor and to make changes of adjustment. Also, we can create a level of security related to the time being and to the security need. Sometimes by the night, we have to take a little bit upper and to change the sensibility to the system, and during the day to take it, let's say, the lower possible. So under this point of view, we are able also to make this kind of programming. As well, our software allows us to save settings, to take them, to store them, to load them inside the programming, to have always the situation of the quality of the communication between the buses and the controller, and to check the tension of the single controller or the single, sensor, in order to know if something under the electrical point of view is not working. We got the position that is coming from the MEMS part, from the accelerometer part of the sensor. And like we said before, we got as well the possibility to calibrate the sporadic cuts in order to know how many events I got to calculate and to keep in consideration if I have to put them in the memory in order to have the event in the end. On the top, you may see sensor by sensor or line by line what our counter is making, like counting in a certain period about the tempo of cuts, the continuous vibration events, and all the other kind of attempts of intrusion on the fencing. Let me come out. All right. So, gentlemen, this, is our FUSION P2P system. The presentation of the system of FUSION P2P is terminating here. I'm totally available if you got any kind of question to answer to your questions, and also to share also some other experience if you need about FUSION P2P and DSF technology.
Alberto.
Yes, Said.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Welcome to you.
Hopefully that you survived.
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much. Actually, very nice to see all those companies as your clients from the beginning of your presentation. So I wish you the success and more satisfied clients, basically. Before we have some questions, but before these questions, I have one question for you. Yes, from my side. So basically, you mentioned this dual technology. What do you point out as the main benefit of using this dual technology when it comes to perimeter protection?
Well, first of all, it's something that increases drastically the security on the fencing protection. This is due to the fact that piezoelectric or piezodynamic is a very complete technology, but MEMS offer certain kind of advantages that piezo is not offering. And on vice versa is the same. Let's say that both the technologies are not, let's say, perfect 100%. They got some limitation. It's normal. Any kind of technology has got. Fusing them together, it means that what is missing on one and what's missing on the other one is practically erased and cancelled. Also, this is very important. Having algorithms that are working on both, let's say, the technologies in order to fuse together the signals that are coming from the field, from the fencing, gives some more in the terms to say that is totally avoiding what was missing before. Practically what we are giving, increase of security, first of all, and we are practically avoiding all the aspects that were not working 100%. Also, this is important because sometimes the people don't understand clearly what I'm telling about this. They tell to me, normally, if there are two technologies, they are working in or alternatively in a hand. Okay, this is a sort of hand. Normally, the hand doesn't work 100% for the technologies that is putting together. In this case, we are both of the technologies that are working at 100% and giving by the algorithms the real response. So, I mean, there is not, let's say, one of the two technologies that is working more than the other. Okay, they are on the same level and they are on the maximum.
Thank you very much, Alberto. We have actually request from Narcis to share your presentation. So is your presentation available?
Easy, it is. Absolutely, it is.
Okay, so for all those participants that want the presentation, we will directly contact with the speaker so you can share these presentations.
Will be my pleasure. Thanks.
You're welcome. The next question is how to reduce disturbances and false alarms, especially when it comes to seismic activity.
Especially when?
Especially when it comes to seismic activities, probably about earthquakes or something like this.
Well, let's say that is everything related to the noise filter. First of all, and then when we talk about, let's say, false alarms generated by events related to the weather, okay, mainly. About the seismic, if we're talking about like earthquakes and so on, it's just a matter about how we discriminate the vibrations. A basic system, a passive system, detect the vibration and that's it, normally. In this case, with active sensors, we are able to discard the seismic events, or like earthquake, because they've got a length in time. So this can be generated like a pre-alarm, not a real alarm. This is also a matter that we can discuss. I mean, unfortunately, earthquakes are afflicting several areas all around the world, also where we are present as well. I mean, we've got a lot of seismic events in Italy in certain areas. So taking in consideration this during the programming of the settings of the systems as well, we are able to make some adjustment. First on the noise filter, okay, that we can elaborate a little bit more. On the other side, of course, knowing this, we can create, let's say, the presettings of the system in order to discard what we can generate like an earthquake. This is certain that if it's a very, very, very hard earthquake that we don't, of course, open to anybody to live like experience, it's a little bit different to discard. But let's say that from, let's say, the basic ones, this is quite easy to avoid and not keep like in consideration like an alarm.
Thank you very much. One more questions. What is the maximum number of sensors mounted?
There's not a limitation. Let's say we got just a limitation about the controllers that I said before can control up to 150 sensors per each line, per each input line, but we have no any limitation about the controllers. So we can create a nets VIP of a lot of controllers. Actually, I can tell you that we got installations based on FUSION P2P for 20 to 25 kilometers of extended fencing. If I will find the installations and the potential jobs around 100 kilometers, I would be very happy. But there is not a limitation at the moment. There's not.
Alberto, thank you very much
for
these answers, and of course, thank you for your presentation and your effort to introduce us this kind of technology. Also, I want to thank to all our participants for being with us today. Wish you all success in your works, especially you, Mr. Alberto. Hopefully, we will see new technologies coming from DEA Security.
Will be my pleasure to be again here with you guys. Let me say thanks for the time dedicated to us, and for anything that you will need, like information and so on, please contact us. We will reply for sure. Thanks, Aid, and thanks to ANS.
Thank you very much. I will also use this opportunity to invite you all to attend Security Summit virtual event, which actually starts in less than 15 days. There will be many interesting topics and lectures to discuss. Also, there will be an opportunity to organize meeting with relevant leads on our connectivity networks. So follow us on our social media channels. Thank you very much and bye.